Hello, thank you for watching Taxpayer Alert. I'm Al Segalla, I'll be your host this time, and I'm also president of the Calaveras County Taxpayer Association, who is sponsoring this event. Our guest this time is our Sheriff Gary Kuntz, who's just won the re-election for office, and you think he'd be relaxed now, but no, he's busier than ever. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Al. Always a pleasure.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about you. What are your feelings about what's happening, and how's your family? And so people can, if they don't know you by now, at least they'll get a chance to say hi.
As far as what are you talking about? We want to talk about the campaign, or you just?
Well, the campaign's over. The main thing now is looking ahead, but also what's most important and what you think is important, and your feelings about the positive and negative things in your world as sheriff.
Well, you know, it's always probably the negative things are always money issues all the time, and my biggest worry is always been about protecting the public. I mean, you know, and make sure we have safe streets and keep our schools safe. We're pretty safe now, and keeping the crime. We got the crime rate down. There's a little discussion about that in the last 2-3 months, but they're down than what it used to be, and I want to keep them that way. And so that's always a big worry to me. And now we got this new sheriff's office and everything else, and got to go back to work, I guess. And I haven't had a chance to take a little vacation yet, but I will.
Well, you certainly deserve it. What is the overall budget happening now compared to last year?
Well, we end up taking about, if you look at what we cut, we had to cut 800-some thousand, but also we had to cut a little more because, you know, which I don't agree with. The county negotiated a 3-year contract with the deputy sheriff associations, the I don't know, a little group called, I don't know, it used to be like the SEIU,
yeah.
But we have a different name for it now. I don't know what they call it anymore. Jailer, made up of correctional officers and dispatchers and
public safety, I think.
Right, yeah, public safety, and they give them all 4% rate. They give them a 3-year contract with a 2%, and a 4%. Well, the first 2% didn't hit the county that hard because basically they just made them pay their own PERS and that kind of thing. This one here is going to be tough. It's a 4% raise. County is really in bad, you know, what they say, really bad shape. And this raise is coming up. Now they want me to pay for this raise for my employees out of my budget. Now it has never ever done that in the past. That's always been county negotiates. They should come up with the money to pay for it, but where they get the money from, it's right back from us. So.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing.
Some communities have gone bankrupt over this
Yep.
unfunded. They call it unfunded liabilities.
Right.
Our taxpayer organization is most concerned about that. We think the only way that you can really be fair with employees is that once the employee is no longer working for the city or county, then from that point on, they should control their own retirement system, whether it's a 401k plan or whatever it is. It should be under their own control, and the employee should own their own money. When the way it is now is that it's almost like a poker game, and the taxpayer is standing there with adding more chips to the player, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. Over the last 2 years, I've heard a lot of talk about that, and even now, even with the safety retirement, you know, which was a pretty lucrative retirement, is where basically you put in 3% of 50. So if you put in 30 years or 50%, you could draw 90% of your wages.
Right.
And you know, and if you made, say you're up in an upper echelon, and you were making $150,000 a year, which some of these bigger agencies do, these captains and such, and I mean you're pulling in $130,000 a year, you know, and I can understand why some people think it's bad because they're on 401ks and everything else. So that's discussion's going to go on for a long time.
Well, if that money comes from their own fund that they control,
Right.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when that money has to go to the taxpayers to pay for it, when they never voted for that,
Right.
and it's just so wrong.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of issues.
that's a fight for another day.
Yep.
But we do want our sheriffs and our retired sheriffs to be well paid and have a good retirement plan, and so we're not meanies, but it's got to be more fair.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Now, so the overall budget looks like because of this, you're getting less than you had last year. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, we had to. What it was is that over the past 2.5 years, I was able to put 8 deputies back on the street, and basically what it did, the CAO froze all our
New hires.
new hires. So they were empty to start with because people left and we were trying to backfill them. They froze them, so basically they took all the salary savings for this year, which is, like I say, about tune of 800 some thousand, plus the wages we're going to have to pay, the COLA raises we have to take out of our budget. So it's kind of about almost $1.2 million, and that's a lot of money to lose out of this county and for the streets. But and then they wanted to kill the positions after that, and I said no, leave them up there because we're working on some other things that we're going to try to bring some officers back. And I just told the board, you can take those positions, but I'm not going to go any lower than 3 people on the street at one time with a supervisor because I'm not going to put the county at risk. And they pay overtime, and we run out of overtime, we'll go back and get more. We're going to have to. That's the only way we can keep a safe county, because once things get out of control, it takes a lot to get them back in control again.
The Taxpayer Association, part of our philosophy is that the purpose of government is to protect the rights,
Right.
life, liberty, and property. And these are natural rights. They're not given by the politician.
Yeah, that's right.
We're born with these
That's
rights.
right. Exactly
And so
right.
it makes sense that the most important thing that government does is to protect those rights. So highest priority needs to be the law enforcement.
They tell us that every year. So we're
Yeah.
the highest priority, but we take the biggest cuts.
Yeah. So, well, you do have the largest part of the budget, though, compared to the other departments.
Because we do a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's not like we got a lot of fat laying around there. It's just
That's true.
we have a jail, we have a dispatch center, we have boating and waterways, we have search and rescue, patrol, detectives. I mean, we have a lot to do.
Speaking of jail, now when this jail was conceived, it's not immaculate conception exactly. The market was going good. We were prosperous. We had all kinds of money. The property values are going up, and people were coming up here. All kinds of developments going in. A lot of expansion, and then the slow process when government does things. The process continued, but the market didn't.
That's right.
And so now the taxpayers are hurt. The county budget is upside down, and we got this big jail that was already being committed before, and if we don't follow through with it, then we're hurt even worse.
Right.
And so, what's your thoughts on the true cost of the jail, and how do we handle that?
I think between the jail and the new sheriff's office, the full cost was like $57 million. And as far as the jail, originally it was built for 240 beds, and then I became sheriff, and everything started going out for bids, and they started looking at it and going, we're not going to be able to build 240 beds with the amount of money we had, so they cut off a 80-bed pod, which would save us about $4 million, which got stuck back into the jail. We finished at 160 beds.
Now that can pod be added later?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be around to see it, but it could be added later. It was designed to grow 25 years out, So, but we couldn't have staffed it anyways, even if we finished it. We just moved in last Friday, I think it was. We moved into the jail, moved all the inmates up there. Now I told the board I needed 6 months to see how, things on paper look good, how they're going to run and stuff.
Right.
But when you actually do it, it's a lot different. There's things that come up on everyday
Kind of a reality check.
reality based on what looks good on paper. So I never did trust what looks good on paper. So you always have to do what you got to do. So I think in 6 months we'll have a pretty good handle on what's going to cost us to maintain that jail, and we're also looking forward to renting some bed spaces out. But I won't go out and try to rent anything right now because I don't know what to charge. When we'll
Right.
find out in 6 months. We get a little handle on it or a little bit of foresight on to see what's really going to cost to run the thing.
Now, you need more correctional officers than you have now, like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
old jail?
Yeah, we need more. We received a few along with some booking clerks, and we wanted all correctional officers, but because things were tight, we settled for some booking clerks. So they're paid less. They're limited to what they can do in there, but they can handle the bookings and a few other things, run the controls,
Right.
and that stuff. Where we don't need a correctional officer for that, but it's nice to have a correctional officer because they can do a variety of things. They're well rounded, but at this point in time, we just got to do what we got to do.
It seemed like the modern jails are designed so that you don't need as many people because your line of vision is improved. Is that true?
Well, the thing what really makes it there's our jail's designed for two different ways. There's the old jail was a linear jail, just basically lock them up. The new jail is a pod system where you can have direct supervision or indirect supervision.
Okay.
So in other words, with indirect supervision, you sit in these towers or these rooms, and you can see 2-3 pods at one time, and you work pushing buttons and that kind of thing.
Right.
With direct supervision, you actually have a correctional officer in there with the inmates that sits at a desk, and they got some lines up there and stuff, and they're allowed to cross the line to talk to you unless they get permission and such. And supposedly, through a lot of research, they were better with making better communication with the inmates and such. But also, when you got a bunch of inmates in one room, if something goes down, you need a few people go in there and try to shut it, calm it back down or diffuse the situation. But so far, even the inmates are going to have a little problem adapting. They quite don't know how to act in there. It's funny because they have all this new furniture and everything else, and new rules and everything else. So they're acclimating it too. It's funny.
It's hard to smuggle. Maybe harder to smuggle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay, some of the, of course, the taxpayers are concerned about keeping track of how crime's going and also response times. One of the things we really agreed with your plans on having increased deputies and having deputies in the different areas that get to know the people in those areas.
Right.
We thought that was just fundamentally good policemen.
Yeah, something like I say, the cop area repeatedly has been the lowest crime rate, and that's been the longest the resident deputy programs that go on there the longest with the same guy, and somebody says something, he knows where to go. Ain't no calling around or that. He just runs down there and takes care of it. He's been instrumental in helping us get that portion of it started, and it's making a difference. And like I say, when you put a new resident deputy in, it takes about 1.5 years to get acclimated, get to know the people and the community groups and the schools and everything else, and then
Now that's in addition to volunteers or
the volunteers. Well, they don't work. They go into schools and such, but volunteers basically work. They do a little patrolling, not much, but they're limited what they can do. They're not allowed to doors open or something. Not allowed to go in there by themselves because they could get hurt.
Yeah.
And so
they have to be post-certified in order to.
Well, you don't have to be post-certified, but I don't want to get nobody beat up or anything, or get
Right.
injured. Yeah,
Okay.
Because a lot of those folks are, they have retired from their jobs, and it's been 10 years, and none of us are spring chickens anymore, so to say.
Now, are we on the way, or do we have deputies in each of our areas now?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, and I want to put one more. I'm still going to try to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do some serious thinking and some readjustments, but I want to put one more in Murphy's. It's been
Okay.
in other words, from this person will work from like Forest Meadows down to the city limits and Angels.
Angels. Okay.
That way, that Arnold deputy can stay more in his area. Murphy's can cover his area, and then Copper can stay down Copper. Now they have to drive up sometimes, split that Murphy's beat. And, when you drive from Copper up to Murphy, that's a long drive.
Yeah.
I'd rather have them down there working on issues down there.
Especially when they have to go fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's dangerous.
Exactly.
It seemed like Murphy's. There's so much going on in Murphy's with the restaurants and those people are so happy, you think there wouldn't be any crime at all.
Well, it's mostly locals after hours. A lot of those are old historic buildings that
Yeah.
there's no real high security. Nothing. Just kick a door or something. The old doorknob falls off or something. And they're just not designed that way.
So looking ahead on future trends, do you have a handle on what are we, of course nobody has a crystal ball, but what are we seeing, what kind of trends are we seeing that we should be concerned about?
There's always been especially up in that area, there's always been a burglary trend because of vacation homes and such, and we're looking at eventually putting together a burglary response team that's going to strictly work with, working with burglary. Sometimes you have to specialize in an area, versus a deputy goes there, takes a burglary report, does footprint stuff. We're gonna try to put together a response team where they just respond to burglaries, and make it a little quicker, and also, working with the people, trying to find out who's doing it in that area with the resident deputies, and that way we can get on them real quick. And
now, when they steal things from people's cabins, they go sell them, probably in the valley.
they do all kinds of stuff. They'll a lot of times they'll keep them, a lot of times they'll sell them, or locally, or they run down, like you say. I know they even take some stuff down to the flea market and stuff in another county or something, get rid of it.
Wow.
There's not a whole lot of monitoring going on there at the flea market.
I understand that. Now you have writing a grant for 3 school resource officers.
Yes.
To train school safety responses, school site safety plans. So this is something new. Is that new?
Yeah, we're writing a grant right now, and I think we just may get that. We have all the. Like I said, when you write a grant, it's pretty difficult. I mean, not difficult, but you have to have statistics to go along with it. And actually, we call the schools to ask some of their problems to help us out in this grant. And we've got overwhelming response from the schools that they have this issue, that issue. So they put it into the grant to get this grant. If we get this grant, then we can put 3 deputies back in the school just to work with the schools, and the programs with the kids and everything else. So.
That'll head off future possible crimes.
Oh yeah, because I people get upset with me in certain parts of the county when I say every time school lets out, our burglary rate jumps way up.
Yeah.
And just because they're out there running around and doing things, and
it's the truth.
Yeah, and it just I don't try to hide facts. I like to be straight and honest with them, and we have a problem.
Yeah.
And supposedly, last crime statistics we looked at was a long time ago. Was like 70% of burglaries are done by juveniles.
Wow. Wow. One of the things that you're going to install or construct a new radio communications tower.
Yes.
Emergency communications.
Yeah, we just put one up, and it's going to be for our own communication. Also, we may rent out some of the tower space to cell phone companies or somebody else around there. It's a little way to generate some revenue.
Speaking of renting things out, one possibility is renting in the future, renting out some bed space in the jail.
Yes, that's why I'm really excited about getting this 6 months under our belt and really keeping real close statistics, so we know what to charge.
Right.
Because I don't want to rent beds out of them and go broke.
No.
They have to pay for a correctional officer and everything else.
You got to pay for the 4%.
Right. But that was always a plan of mine and some of my administrators for the last 3.5 years since I became sheriff. We're going to rent some beds out, but I got to balance it because I got to keep still beds for our own people.
One of the things that I know the district attorney and also yourself had concerns over this AB 109 and this CCP, where you're trying to. I don't know how to explain it, but
community partnership policing program.
Yeah. So how is that working?
Well, we just they just hired a brand new probation chief, and I met with him. We sat down, talked about an hour and a half. He seems like a really square away guy, and he's really into this AB 109. And there's a certain aspect of it that has to be rehabilitation, and we talked about that extent. We're trying to work something out. Are you going to be able to rehabilitate them? I'm a little questionable. I've always been a little bit skeptical of the whole program, but it's there. So I'll try my best to try to make it work the best I can. But I still think we're going to have problems with it. I just
it's hard to make another person change if they don't want to change themselves. If
Exactly.
they're happy being whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Why should they change?
Exactly.
So as we, one of the things that some people are concerned with is a veterans court. It's not really has to do with your department so much, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, matter of fact, I've been working very closely with Charity Manis, who started this program.
Yes.
She's a great gal. She really is.
She also has a little publication called the Copper Gazette.
Yes. No, she's very. I've known Jerry for a long time, and she came to me with this, and I said, I'll support you 100%. And she got up and running, and she's getting backing from all the other groups here in the county, and they're going to go away for training pretty soon. And it's basically going to, the court's going to have to run it, basically, because the judges have to buy into it and stuff. But right now, we still have a few judges up in the air, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But knowing Charity, she'll get it done.
Charity is one of our guests on our Taxpayer Alert program.
Oh, she's a great
and
gal.
she was so worried about not being appreciated. She did a fine job.
Oh yeah, no, Sherry's very good.
Yeah, well, I guess it's people like Charity, and there's so many others that are in the background. They're working to try to bring about a better community, and sometimes they have little specialties. Like she's really involved in the veterans because her son is in the Marine Corps, and she wrote a book about a person that lost his life in Vietnam. And
Letters from Vietnam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there with her book signing.
Letters from Vietnam.
Letters from Vietnam. I met the lady who actually, her husband lost her husband and stuff.
Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that was a nice little book ceremony.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's really, really great. Well, one of the things that we want to, what is your feelings about how we compare with other counties like ours in regards to crime and
I was told I didn't officially do it myself, but I said despite what our supposed crime rates were supposed to be here for the last 3 years, we're still much lower than our surrounding counties.
Okay.
So
Now,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I am too. I haven't been victim of burglary, but I think you have.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
lost a few bucks on that one too.
Yeah.
Didn't take my own advice. Didn't lock one window. What I've done is, if anything, I took a good hard look how we keep statistics and such, and I have changed a lot of that ways, and especially with response time and such, because I found out, it was pointed out to me by a sergeant that, we get civil papers to serve, and they get posted at 8 o'clock in the morning to take them out, and if they don't get served till 6 o'clock that night, that's all response time. I said, no, that shouldn't be a response time. That needs to stay in a different category. So we're doing that right now. We're breaking down all different categories. So hopefully next year maybe it was a good thing, this whole argument about the response times and crime reports. So we're basically going to, revamp the whole system to try to make it a little more accurate. I never paid attention that much for me. And so through this election, I did. So that was one positive thing came out of it. So,
yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
And our taxpayer group is very supportive of law enforcement. We always have.
Yeah.
And we like the idea of being full sunshine on everything.
Yeah.
And good, bad, or the ugly, it doesn't make any difference.
No, you're right.
The public has the right to know that. One of the things that we mentioned about this 4%. How do salaries in our county for law enforcement compare with other counties? Is anybody leaving here to go someplace else?
They're trying. Yeah, a lot of them have left. I lost, but I lose them all the time.
Where do they go?
Stockton was hiring 175 cops, and they were saving $1,000 a month because Stockton PD is going to pay their benefits for them. Over here, we have to pay our own. That's $1,000 a month savings, and of course, it's a crazy.
They're bankrupt.
Yeah, well, they were, but now they have money through a.
So now they're going to go bankrupt again.
Yeah. Well, and then, of course, the bigger counties, the bigger cities pay more money than we do. I mean, that's just always been a fact. But I think we pay pretty decent. I would think we do. I think we pay pretty fairly for our economy area and stuff up here.
Is there some source that keeps track of that stuff? I don't know.
Oh yeah, they actually there's I can't remember who it is. HR would know where they actually show what every county pays their deputies and starting out, and a lot of it's based on their if they have a degree or if they have longevity or if they have this or they have that. They get paid a little bit. Incentive programs. do certain things, and some even pay if you want to work swing shift, you get paid more than working day shift, you know, and vice versa. And I'm sorry, and night shift too, you know. And
Yeah.
there's it just varies. It just varies. But it's always been a fact that the bigger agencies pay more money. But you can't afford to live there. But so a lot of them commute, you know.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people come up here not to make money as much as to enjoy the environment.
If they start, you know, what I've seen is if a deputy comes here and starts here, you know, gets used to the pay and such, and picks up a home here eventually, and their wives maybe get a job around here somewhere, they stay here, even though they pay less money, but it's just a better environment, more opportunities to do different things, and versus somebody who's been, say they work in Santa Clara, they pay very well, but they can't afford to live in Santa Clara, so they live just like in Tracy or something like that. You live in the outskirts, and once they get used to that money base, they won't come to one of our departments. We got more cops living up here than we do works up here. You know, they're from Stockton, they're from Modesto, they're from Tracy, they're all over the place, and they live in the lower part of the county. A lot of them live down in Copperopolis. You'd be surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Did you see this court case where the schools the right to tenure was in question, that the teachers, if they do something to hurt the kids, their tenure doesn't count? And it's going. I understand it's going to go to the Supreme Court now, but
Yeah,
but
I haven't heard that now.
I don't know. So that
It doesn't surprise me though.
now, how does tenure work in the sheriff's department?
It's seniority. It's,
Okay.
You know, in other words, it's just you've been there the longest, and you could even, you know, if say somebody worked there 10 years, you know, and had X amount of, you know, seniority built up, they leave and come back within a year, they get it all back.
Okay.
But over a year, you don't get anything back.
Okay, I understand. Now, when you have a crime, it gets reported as a crime, and then some of them get solved. Maybe not all of them.
No.
Okay, so there's some kind of percentage that's put together, a percentage of crimes that are solved. Is there a comparison between our county and other counties for that? This sounds kind of a dumb question.
No, it's not a dumb question. I know where you're getting at. I've never really looked at those really hard and compare them to other counties, but I know one thing for sure, that the other counties have a heck of a lot more calls than we do, and I don't know if they solve them all or not, you know, and again, it depends on what kind of crime it is, and
We probably got a lot of burglaries because of the fake.
we have burglaries, but you know, it depends where you're at. Now, you go to Valley Springs, there's a lot of everything. Go to Arnold, it's mainly burglaries, and then you go up to West Point, it's different, you know, and it's all kind of, the county's unique because every little town's different. They have their own needs, you know, they have their own cliques, they have everything, you know.
Right.
It's funny. You know, you go from Arnold and you go down to Copper, there's a big difference how people live, and they, you know, what their needs are. They want snow plows up there and everything else.
Well,
and we want water.
We're running out of time, and I'm so glad that you came. Thank you for watching Taxpayer Alert.
Thank you.